New digital payment solution injects investment package into Nigeria's financial and agricultural sectors.
If we want to improve on agriculture, we have to embrace modernity.
Illegal mining, 1 year of mining marshals brings sanity to the sector.
The mining marshals identified 457 suspected illegal mining sites.
Also on the news, correspondence looks at menace of articulated trucks, just as FCT Minister takes over payments of hospital bills of Cairo Bridge explosion victims.
The Commission should have much concern on those big vehicles, because most of the drivers, they behave as if they are not trained at all.
Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Lami Ali. With me tonight are Benny Adams with the latest updates on business news, and Ayodeji Makinde, who will share with us the excitement from the football lovers as Nigeria's Super Eagles secure a thrilling win over Rwanda Swaps in a crucial Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. You can watch this broadcast on the go on our website nta.ng/live and follow us on our social media handles displayed on your screen. Stay with us as we bring you the news that matters most. So let's get started. An American multinational payment card services corporation has briefed Vice President Kashim Shettima on plans to site its data center infrastructure in Nigeria. This is in addition to its investments of more than $1 billion in the country, including a technological partnership to foster digital payment solutions, a $200 million investment package, and a partnership with Thrive Agric to empower smallholder farmers and enhance food security in Nigeria. Vice President Shettima assured the US-based corporation team that the patronage and partnership with Nigerian governments will continue to grow by leaps and bounds. He applauded them for investing in agriculture, noting that the administration of President Tinubu is passionate about repositioning the agricultural sector, which is one of the key areas of the administration's 8-point agenda.
President Tinubu is really keen on repositioning the agriculture industry here. And we have to embrace technology. We have to embrace modernization. If we want to improve on agriculture, we have to embrace modernity. Improved agricultural prices, improved seeds, fertilization, intermediate technology, and Thrive Agriculture is a company that has focused on food security.
The Nigerian Vice President urged them to also invest in the Outsourced to Nigeria initiative of the federal government to help facilitate access to finance for the creative sector to boost the nation's digital and creative economy. Andrew Toh, who led the delegation, said the plan was to site the data center infrastructure aimed at bringing the new technologies into the Nigerian market that would bolster the nation's growing digital economy in all aspects. Now, 1 year after the inauguration of the mining marshals, 327 illegal miners were arrested and 98 mining sites handed over to the legitimate owners. These achievements excite the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, as he inaugurates another set of mining marshals to sanitize the industry. Mie Ogidi reports.
21st of March 2024. 2,220 mining marshals charged to mine illegal miners in the dreaded thick forest. And within 1 year, 327 arrests made, 142 undergoing trial in court, 4 foreigners serving jail term.
In many instances, the illegal miners had occupied the licensed areas for a decade or more, displacing the actual licensed owners of the sites. The mining marshals have recovered over 98 sites back to their owners in the last 1 year. So far, the mining marshals identified 457 suspected illegal mining sites and has improved intelligence gathering on these sites.
We even went as far as going to the palace of the chief. Sometimes we even do sensitization. Is that we will continue to remain on the path of patriotism.
1 year of good job, Dele Alaki acknowledged. And to expand the scope of operations going forward, another set of mining marshals inaugurated. The police and the army will also be incorporated to this intervention force, codename Squad, Alaki promised. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
Ministry of Solid Mineral Development is seeking to expand collaborations with the Ministry of Defense in the area of production of military hardware in Nigeria. Minister of Steel Development Shuaibu Abubakar Audu disclosed this to newsmen after an inspection tour of production facilities at the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, DICON, in Kaduna. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
This production outfit manufactures about 20 million ammunitions annually and 2,500 rifles quarterly. But then, the raw materials for the production are mostly imported. That has been the story of the steel sector in the past 45 years, with Nigeria importing about 4 billion naira worth of steel annually. Minister of Steel Development says all that is changing under the new administration, and the partnership with DICON will see the establishment of a military-industrial complex at Ajokuta.
We want to produce and provide the steel raw materials locally. We're also having very high-level discussions and in the final phases of signing an MOU with DICON, Ministry of Defense, and Ajokuta for production of military hardware subject to Mr. President's approval.
So with his visit today, we are hopeful that with the cooperation that's being developed, there's going to be prospects for DICON to do better.
The minister also visited the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, in his Kaduna residence, where they held discussions on the steel sector. In Kaduna, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
In line with the renewed hope agenda on security, the federal government has commenced the revitalization of the Defense Industries Corporation, DICON. In this report, defense correspondent Ismail Musa highlights the implications on the ongoing drive to further secure the nation.
A safe and secured environment is critical to the provision of dividends of democracy. This informs the present administration's decision to place premium in combating terrorism in the northeast, banditry in the northwest, and secessionist agitation in the south-south. To enhance the provision of arms and needed platforms, in November 2023, President Bola Tinubu signed the DICON Act to promote indigenous production of military hardware in line with the local content policy. To achieve this, the Defense Industries Corporation, DICON, is collaborating with a local firm for the production of military hardware.
To enhance security in line with the DICON Act 2023 and also the President's renewed hope agenda on security. We will be assembling drones, unarmed aerial vehicles, unmanned aerial vehicles, 4x4 vehicles, and mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles.
With emphasis on local content, the firm says the initiative will cut capital flight by providing defense equipment.
Everything that we're going to produce here must be tropicalized to suit our own terrain. And it will be what our armed forces and other security agencies require. Nigerian border is porous. Immigration services need high-tech equipment to cover the vast borders we have in the country.
This partnership will develop human capacity by employing the services of retired military personnel, youths, and produce unique platforms to combat specific threats. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now, Nigeria's federal government has signed a bilateral air services agreement with Canadian authorities in Abuja. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo signed the agreements, explaining that it is a code-share deal allowing airlines to market and sell seats on flights operated by other airlines. This agreement will strengthen ties between Nigeria and Canada, says Keyamo. Nigeria will designate airline operators to enhance the deal, making connections simpler and providing greater access to cities without extra flights. The Canadian government has expressed readiness to work with Nigeria in strengthening bilateral agreements. Nigeria and Ghana will benefit from a new accountable grant delivery mechanism from the United Kingdom's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Organization. Minister of Aviation, Science and Technology, Uche Naji, and his Ghanaian counterpart, Mursala Mohammed, joined other partners to launch the project in Abuja, valued at £1.9 million. The initiative is to promote economic diversification, job creation, innovation and transformation. The renewable project runs for 1 year.
To ensure coordinated project delivery and rigorous monitoring of outcomes and impacts.
Innovation is a key enabler of a strong and inclusive economy. Sankore will be a catalyst to securing Ghana and Nigeria's future as a hub.
The intention is to align with the national mandates of both Nigeria and Ghana and deliver on our bilateral agreements.
Today we are building on this experience and expertise to engage in this new collaboration.
The project is part of UK West Africa Science Technology and Innovative Partnerships for Sustainable Development. Survivors and victims of Wednesday's Cairo truck crash and explosion who are currently receiving treatment in hospital say they are fast recuperating from the different degrees of burns and injuries. Abdullahi Ajia has an update from the unfortunate incidents that has claimed an additional life.
As attention gradually shifts away from the scene of the Cairo truck explosion, some of the victims on their hospital beds still recount the ugly incident of the unfaithful day, which lingers in their minds.
Everything was like magic that the first day was totally traumatic. I managed to break the glass of the vehicle and I escaped through the broken glass.
Although the hospital officials would not speak on camera, we gathered that treatment is going on unhindered.
No better than when I came in. Because that day I wasn't myself.
I don't feel myself. I don't think I'm going to die. But by the grace of God, I'm still alive. And thank God.
The FCT Emergency Management Agency confirms 2 additional deaths.
That in making 10. One in Asokoro General Hospital and one in National Hospital. But the other people are really, they are getting better.
The FCT minister, in a statement by his media aide, directed that all victims be treated free, as the administration will foot the expenses. In Abuja, Abdullahi Hajia, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the increase in accidents involving articulated vehicles is of concern due to the safety of road users and the huge number of victims involved. Citizens are suggesting restricting time of movement and the need for enhanced regulation and enforcement on the movement of these massive trucks all over the country. Onome Okadigbo reports.
Articulated vehicles are a common sight on Nigerian roads. Motorists observe that they pose a significant threat to other road users as they are involved in a number of road crashes.
If it means, allocating certain time to certain type of vehicles, that's okay. That's okay. Then they create the awareness, give them time to adjust, and that's it. So it will decongest the road.
The Commission should have much concern on those big vehicles, because most of the drivers, they behave as if they are not trained at all.
The sector commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Anambra State, said the main causes of articulated vehicle crashes are overloading, speeding and reckless driving.
A majority of the accidents that we are seeing are accidents from vehicles that are owned singly by individuals. That's where the problem starts. And what FRSC has been trying to do is to identify these individuals and pull them to be part of one union or the other that is being regulated by FRSC.
Road users are advised to exercise caution while sharing the roads with articulated vehicles, as safety is everyone's responsibility. From Oka Onome Okadibo, NTA News.
We pause now for some messages. We'll be right back with more stories. The Federal High Court sitting at Lokoja had granted an interim injunction restraining INEC, its staff, agents, privileged or assigned from receiving, accepting or acting on any petition containing fictitious signatures of purported members of Kogi Central Senatorial District and conducting any referendum upon such petition for the purpose of initiating a recall process of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan as Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, pending the determination of the motion on notice to the same effect. The court granted the application following an ex parte application for interim injunction supported by an affidavit of extreme urgency, together with other court processes sworn to by Anebe Jacob Ogirima for himself and 4 others who are registered voters and constituents of Kogi Central Senatorial District of Kogi State. The application was moved by Smart Nwachimere of West Idahosa, SAN and Co. The case has been adjourned to 6 May 2025 for report of service and further mention. Now, the trial of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has commenced afresh before the Federal High Court in Abuja. Kanu appeared before Justice James Omotosho as a defendant in a terrorism case charge. Judiciary correspondent Austin Anyebe reports.
Hearing before Justice James Omotosho, the defendant, Nnamdi Kanu, pleaded not guilty to the 7-count charge.
Upon the commencement of proceeding, the defense team led by the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Kanu Agabi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, on behalf of Kanu, tendered apology to the court. The prosecution counsel, Adegboyega Awomolo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and his lawyer for the way he behaved when he last appeared before Justice Binta Mutala Nyako.
He has done the right thing. The apology is given to the court, to the prosecution, even to the defense team. What we seek is the good and the unity of the nation, the peace of the nation.
He then proceeded to enter his plea of not guilty to the 7-count charge bordering on terrorism. After taking his plea, Justice Omotosho expressed his willingness to expedite hearing of the matter within a short possible time and therefore adjourned the case to 29 March and 5th of May 2025 for hearing, as both the prosecution and the defendant have expressed their readiness for trial. Justice James Omotosho is the 4th judicial officer to handle the matter of Nnamdi Kanu since his trial commenced 10 years ago. Friday proceeding was witnessed by representatives at the National Assembly from the defendant's constituency. From the Federal High Court, Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu heartily congratulates Mr. Fejola Arowolo, an administrator and public health icon, on his 80th birthday. The president joins family, friends and well-wishers in celebrating the life of a respected pharmacist whose career has spanned the public and private sectors in Nigeria and the United States. The president commends Arowolo's exemplary service to the country, notably as the pioneer chairman of the National Drug Abuse Committee in Ondo State and former director of pharmaceutical services in the state. President Tinubu also applauds Arowolo for his relentless fight against counterfeit drugs. Similarly, President Bola Tinubu felicitates with Dr. Oluwakemi Pinero, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, on his 60th birthday. Celebrating the legal luminary and founder of Pinero, President Tinubu acknowledges Dr. Pinero's contributions to Nigeria's jurisprudence, underscoring his service as former Special Assistant to the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Lagos State. While commending the distinguished legal practitioner for his commitment to mentoring the next generation of legal minds, the president encourages Dr. Pinheiro to continue advancing reforms in the legal profession. He prays for God's continued blessings on the learned silk. Now, let's switch gears and take a look at the world of business. And Benny has the latest updates of market trends, economic developments, and more. Benny, what's making headlines in the business world tonight?
A whole lot, Lami, and now we're talking business. In a bid to grow exports of made in Nigeria products, ensure safety and grow the economy, the Standards Organization of Nigeria is collaborating with stakeholders across board. This time, it is about the safety of the motoring public in an effort to tackle road crashes as a result of substandard tires being sold in markets across the country. The meeting between the regulator, the enforcer, and the dealer at the Apple Mechanic Village is to also encourage local capacity as against imports, whose value is put at 108 billion naira.
And during the intra-African trade, there will be free flow of goods, persons, and services, which means other tires will flow into Nigeria. And if we continue with the substandard tire, it will kick our own out of the market.
We are going to reduce road crashes in our country. The way we manage tires, the way we store tire storage.
We are very, very obedient people. Formally, you will see that when you hear son, everybody will be running. But under the leadership of our brother, when you hear that son is coming, we feel happy.
Now, still on standards to vandals, the National Association of Scrap and Waste Dealers of Nigeria says the crackdown of vandals of national assets by its anti-vandals task force has led to huge success combating the menace across the country, with visible results in the FCT, and is also poised to do it more with the setting up of a more vigorous leadership of the association in collaboration with security agencies. Well, at this point, we take a look at the market. The domestic market today had its first green outcome on Friday, retracting from losses experienced in the past 5 sessions. The all-share index rose 10 basis points to close at 104,962.98 basis points from 104,858.77 basis points on Thursday, as investors also gained 65.33 billion naira and market capitalization closing at 65.82 trillion naira. South Africa GSE Top 40 remained unchanged, while the Tunisia Tune Index appreciated marginally to get out of the red zone. Well, that is it, and business. Now, looking on one-on-one tonight features Nigeria's top 50 finalists for the Global Teacher Award. A multi-award winning Nigerian teacher tells all as he joins Cyril Stoba at 10:30 tonight on the network service of the NTA. Do join us as well as the commercial break is on for now.
The Federal University of Applied Sciences, Kaduna State, is set to commence academic activities by September 2025, as directed by the federal government. This announcement was made by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, while inaugurating the principal officers of the institution.
Demand for healthcare personnel is increasing, and the federal government also expanding the supply chain. Here again, the Federal University of Applied Sciences, Kachia, set to respond to this manpower demand. And with adequate infrastructure, land acquisition, and budgetary allocation already provided, stakeholders are optimistic the institution will take off on sound footing and a destination of choice.
A university that will provide quality education, foster innovation in science, promote community engagement, and create an environment where economic activities will enhance the well-being of its people.
We know the president's drive
for free education, for security of our schools. We are making sure that all schools are secure. Our children should be able to go to school and learn and become better citizens. So I wish to appeal to all the young men and women across northern Nigeria and across the rest of Nigeria that a vacant lighthouse has been built in Kachia. And with the support that they promised to give us, I believe we will achieve. Thank you very much once again. Our sincere appreciation to Mr. President.
Let's use these two big federal institutions, the Federal Medical Center Kafancha, the Federal University of Applied Science Kashia. Let's use this as incubator of more massive development in southern Kaduna.
As the University of Applied Sciences embarks on this exciting journey, there is strong belief it will make significant contribution to Nigeria's healthcare landscape through conducting cutting-edge research and fostering strong collaborations within the sector. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
And Nigerians can now demand remedial action from controllers and processors who breach their data. This is as the Nigeria Data Protection Act directive is issued in Abuja. Ayodeji Makinde has the details.
This is the Nigeria Data Protection Act General Application and Implementation Directive, NDPC Act Guide, issued with a view to address technical and organizational bottlenecks across 14 broad areas. As issues of breaches are recorded in the country, this document aligns with the provisions of the Constitution for the privacy of citizens, correspondence, telephone conversations and telegraphic communications.
Data controllers and data processors don't even understand data privacy.
National Commissioner, Nigerian Data Protection Commission, Vincent Olatunji, notes that the NDPC Act Guide is geared towards safeguarding freedoms of Nigerians in the context of data privacy.
We are delighted to know that our remedial engagements with Nigerian organizations are yielding positive results gradually. With the issuance of this NDPC Act Guide, no organization can feign ignorance of its obligations under the law.
After 17 months of consultations, the NDPC Act General Application and Implementation Directive Guide will not only serve as a framework for data processors and controllers, but create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive in Nigeria's digital economic landscape. In Abuja, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
More news and updates after the break. Do stay. You're welcome back. The interconnectedness of a healthy forest and sustainable food system represents a fundamental principle for both ecological and economic stability. Unfortunately, ongoing deforestation fueled by human activities is disrupting this delicate balance. However, the International Day of Forest 2025 is providing a crucial platform to highlight the essential role of forests in biodiversity and human well-being, as well as the renewed efforts towards effective conservation. Here is the report.
To occupy 1/3 of global landmass, roughly 1.6 billion people, and over 2,000 cultures depending on it for food, shelter, and means of livelihood. Nigeria's rainforests, primarily in the southern regions, known for high biodiversity, mangrove forests located in the Niger Delta, crucial for coastal protection and fisheries, and the savanna woodlands, dominating the northern region. Nigeria's forests provide essential services such as biodiversity conservation, carbon sequestration, water purification, and serve as resources and income for local communities.
So if you begin to see the importance of forests and the global food system, this day seeks to highlight that delicate balance.
Despite this enormous potential, there are setbacks. Desertification, logging, illegal mining, banditry, oil exploration, land use conflicts constitute some of the challenges. But the International Day of Forests 2025, with the theme Forests and Food, serves as a timely reminder of the vital connection and the need to promote sustainable forest management In commemoration of this day and addressing the problem, the Department of Forestry and Ministry of Environment launched a Young Foresters Club in schools with students tasked with the responsibility of planting and nurturing trees from nursery to their maturity stage.
We need them to be our vanguard, to be here, to see what we are saying, to be part of what we are trying to do. And you find that at this level, the commitment that I've seen from them will go a long way. Even the association, the club we've just inaugurated, is a good initiative.
We have an intention to say that in this school, it will be a model. Every tree planted here, we will reference it.
With the International Day of Forests providing a call for action, it is hoped nations will intensify efforts to promote sustainable forest management while addressing the threats of deforestation and forest degradation. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Heathrow Airport begins partial flight services just as Namibia gets a first female president. Details with Chukununso Mwaboise on Global Update.
Heathrow Airport Friday evening resumed some flight operations and hopes to run full service by Saturday. The airport was shut early Friday after a huge fire at a nearby electrical substation wiped out its power, disrupting flight schedules around the world. Heathrow is the world's 5th busiest airport and was due to handle 1,351 flights during the day, flying up to 291,000 passengers before the fire incidents. Meanwhile, Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah on Friday became the first Namibian female president following her swearing-in. The 72-year-old, who secured 58% of the vote in the country's November elections, pledged an increased investments in infrastructural developments. And the Sudanese army said on Friday that it has recaptured the country's presidential palace in the capital, Khartoum. The army spokesperson, General Nabil Abdullah, in a broadcast hailed the victory as a great crushing of the RSF. Chukunonso Mwaboise, NTA News.
And Ayo Deji Makinde is here for the update on sports. You're on, Ayo.
Oh, yes. Thanks so much, Lami. Let's begin with this exciting story because Super Eagles of Nigeria returned to winning ways in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, recording a 2-0 victory over Amavubi at the Amahoro Stadium in Rwanda. After a stuttering start to their campaign where they recorded 3 draws in their first 4 matches, Galatasaray forward Victor Osimhen scored in the 11th minute and 3rd minute of first half added time to seal victory and reignite the spark for the Super Eagles, who are aiming to reach the FIFA World Cup finals after the missed out of the 2022 edition in Qatar. Nigeria is now 4th in Group C with 6 points behind leaders South Africa on 10 points, Benin Republic on 8 points and Rwanda on 7 points. Also, Victor Osimhen became the 2nd highest goal scorer for the Super Eagles after his brace moved him to 24 goals, 1 goal clear of legendary Segun Odegbami and 13 more goals to equal the all-time record of 37 goals held by another legend, Rashidi Yekini. Super Eagles are back in action on Tuesday against the Warriors of Zimbabwe in match day 6 of the qualifiers at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo. Now, let's flip through selected matches of the qualifiers decided on day 5 across different centers on the continent. South Africa beat Lesotho by 2-0 to move them to 10 points, like I told you earlier. DR Congo beat South Sudan by a lone goal. And Burkina Faso, interestingly, beat Djibouti by 4-1. Lassina Traore and Bertrand Traore on the score sheets, while Nigeria's Samuel Akimbinu, imagine, actually scored for Djibouti in that encounter. He's a Nigerian but representing the Djibouti national team. Algeria beat Botswana 3-1 on away soil. Elsewhere, newly elected president of the International Olympic Committee, Kirsty Coventry, has expressed her feelings towards the banning of Russia over the ongoing Ukrainian crisis and would welcome initiatives to readmit the country back to the Olympic family. Kirsty Coventry, who won 2 Olympic gold medals in swimming for Zimbabwe, has tasks ahead of her as issues bordering on suspension of countries based on political disputes, gender eligibility and improved inclusion of member countries linger on. Russia was suspended in October 2023 for its military actions against Ukraine, and athletes from the country have competed as independents under a neutral flag. And that's your sports. It's back to Lami.
Thank you, Ayo. Now let's take a look at the weather forecast.
Glad to have you join us. The northern regions are expected to remain dry and sunny, with possibility of slight dust haze reducing their visibilities. The north-central city should be calm, with slim chance of evening thunderstorms over southern Kwara. The bulk of the activity is expected down south, as overnight system is likely to give morning thunderstorms to parts of Ogun, southern Oyo, Lagos, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River State. By afternoon, thunderstorms are expected across the stretch of the coast, extending to most inland cities of the south. And that's where we conclude our weather forecast. I'm Sefia Asenginusa. Thank you for watching.
One-on-One tonight features Nigeria's top 50 finalists for the Global Teacher Award. The multi-award winning Nigerian teacher tells all as he joins Cyril Stober at 10:30 tonight on the network service of the NTA. Do join us.
Culturally relevant pedagogy is actually talking about, picking things that are around you as a teacher. There is something we call improvisation in teaching. You see, you don't have to be looking for example that may be, contributing, making the subject more difficult for the student. You have to look for things around to show the student as an example. For instance, now I'm taking subject like mensuration. I don't have to go around and be bringing pictures and every other thing. Just ask the student to look around what object at home look like cylinder, what object at home look like keyboard, what object at home, especially because possibly maybe the reason why it's worked out for me is because I've always been working in an underserved community where we have students from a low-income background. Many of their parents are farmers and every other thing. So it is easy for me to quickly adopt or improvise things that will make me to break down that subject.
Remember, the time is 10:30 tonight. Join us for the complete conversation with Kayode Adiwale. And that's your network news for tonight. We thank you for being a part of it. Ramadan Kareem, and do have a good weekend.